What's going on, everybody? It's no cap space where our roster is full and we don't have any money. But we do have a special guest today. We went over the cap space for y'all. It's March Madness. We had to do it. We got the homie TylerIAm on Twitter, Tyler in real life. How's it going, Tyler?
I'm good. Happy to be here. Thank you all for having me. Ready to talk some ball and have my bracket dissected.
Yeah,
and we're gonna get into it because it's a fun one. So what we're doing is somewhat of a social experiment. At this point, you guys have heard from No Cap Space, our bracket breakdown. We had some guests, some OGs in the game that cover it, played it, et cetera, et cetera. So now we have some names you might not be as familiar in the women's game yet, including the homie Tyler. So, but you are new to this, but you're still true to this. You got the hat on. Tell them who you was repping. Tell them who your girl is. Shout your dog out.
Oh, you already know. Kentucky Wildcats, not a great year in particular, but we're moving forward, not looking back. Ryan Howard gang all day, every day. Valid. Oh, yeah. I was going to put the shirt on. I was like, nah, that's too much. That'd be pandering. It's under the hoodie. It's under the hoodie.
Award. Did you see?
Not the advocacy award.
Yes.
Is she? Well, no, she's also coaching in this tournament, which it's not for us, which upsets me greatly, but I still support her in all her endeavors.
John didn't throw some dollars over. Like, what happened, man?
I'm gonna have a talk with John. Depending on how things go this weekend, me and John gonna have to step out back, man.
Ain't no way you could bring Drake in. You can't bring Ryan back in. Like, come on.
I agree. She might be our successor. I don't want to reveal anything that I've heard. Coaching, waiting plan. I can't reveal too much.
So even as someone that is, newer to the game than some, you've still witnessed an incredible amount of success cheering for Kentucky. Yeah. And I say that as
that was like a wandering sentence. That was
yeah. No, I'm still reliving y'all.
It's not like Mark Kellogg talking about Caitlin. Like,
oh yeah, no, we'll always have that SEC. Was it 2022?
Yes, we won the title. Yep, y'all won it. Yep. So hey, we all won that year.
That's when we won the title. You see that? She ain't sleep.
Look, I'm trying to make up for the hurt.
Like the old PC, we should have shared national titles. What I feel.
Look, if UNC can get one,
like the prongs on a crown.
We just get a little bit of the prong. I feel that Drayuna Edwards deserves that at least.
Look, if UNC can get a banner for hanging close with us or hanging tough or whatever they called it that year, like y'all could get something for actually beating us. So I don't particularly mind it, but we're gonna get into your bracket and we're gonna talk about, as somebody who it approaches the game differently. What was your guiding principle since cheering for Kentucky wasn't it this year?
How unnecessary. No, I had to get my bracket pulled up. I found that my biases are, if it's SEC, I would lean SEC in general. If there's like a player I've heard of or seen in any kind of like getting mocked to the dream or anything, if I know you got you might have somebody with potential dog in you, that elevates you a tier in my mind. And I won't spoil it, but it's one pick where y'all gotta let me know if I'm hating.
I'm ready. We can.
Well, if you are, that's also
that's also a completely valid reason for making the pick. Yeah. So we fully support that.
I also might not be hating enough, so y'all let me know which.
We can turn that up. We can always turn that up. Yeah. But Renee Montgomery, if you're watching, he's doing the scout for you. So pay attention.
I'm right here.
Pay attention.
Literally right here.
Pay attention. So Tyler, I'll throw it over to you, and we're gonna get into your bracket because that first region is.
Yeah, let's dive right into this because we have the bracket pulled up here. I mean, right off the start, you got Michigan State over North Carolina, and I'm intrigued by this one because everyone, South Carolina, North Carolina played earlier this season. There was some beefing involved in that, so I think everyone kind of penciled North Carolina in. I feel like mostly off the strength of just wanting to see it again, more so than any real analysis. But I want to hear, what was the thought process here with Michigan State?
There was none, honestly. Like I wish I had like a great
They're non-factor.
If our the starting center, the hamstring it's mush. It's absolutely garbage. But I just went. I was like, it's ultimately not gonna matter. I don't think who they play in the next round.
It's not.
Knock on wood, because I don't want to jinx downstate.
You're giving Michigan State. I mean, North Carolina bulletin board.
Not the bulletin board.
I'm going to give a lot of bulletin board material. So if you give out a lot of bulletin board material, it kind of cancels
out.
You know what I'm saying? If 10 teams are come on.
Yeah. Okay, so just for some context, that year you beat us and that we won. North Carolina, what did they lost by like 8 or 9 or something like that? Yeah. Like they kept it close and they kind of like hung their hats on like, oh, well, we played them the closest in the tournament. It's like you still lost in the tournament. So like they wanted a piece of it. Yeah. So it's like to me as a Gamecock fan, it's extra hilarious that they're just not a factor in your bracket. So I'm gonna hate for you in this regard.
Please.
There you go. That's perfect. But one team that is a factor here, you got Fairfield, the 13th seed, making it to the Sweet 16. And here's the thing: I don't know how are you familiar with the Fairfield story this year?
No. What?
So let's put you on then.
Yeah. It has no. I'll tell you why I picked them to go this far, but I would love to hear the story.
Yeah. Okay. So the context first, and then we'll get your reasoning for it. Because Fairfield is probably arguably like the best like mid-major lower team. They were ranked for the first time in the top 25 this year in their program's history. Only lost 1 game the entire season. Almost lost their conference tournament final. But we're able to sneak in, and there was going to be questions because of their strength of schedule about if they'd make it in or not had they not won their conference tournament. But
they had Charlie Cream hating.
Yeah. They had the main bracketologist was like, if they don't win, their ass is out of here.
And Charlie would go, their resume is trash.
Yeah.
So get them out of here.
Yeah, preying on their downfall in real time.
Yes. So they've now become a bit of a sweetheart. They're a fun offensive team. They're kind of like your quintessential, just like the mid-major that's good as an offense is just gonna run and try and outscore you. And they've done it to every team but one this entire season. So that's kind of the context behind this. So this is actually probably one of the more popular mid-major picks, I would assume, across everybody's bracket. But what was your reasoning for putting them into the Sweet 16 here?
What is their mascot?
I ain't gonna hold you. I don't think I know. Now that I think about it. You know what? I'll Google it. I'll Google. Hold on.
It's a fighting something of some sort. It's something that engages in violence.
The Stags.
That's right. That's right.
I'm wrong.
I said you don't see a lot of stag as a mascot. Not as much stag as you should.
Yeah.
And I saw the 30 wins. That's another one of my biases. I kind of don't care who you're playing. If you win 30 games over the course of
you're doing something
30 to 35, you've got something figured out. Like either if you're blowing teams out, you got something figured out. You've certainly had to overcome some clutch situations to be that good to overcome in the conference tournament, as you said. So that's why that and the stag.
That's so valid. The stag. That's
I'm riding with the stag.
Yeah, riding with the stag. So I see just going down the list on the left side over here. We got the SEC bias checks out with the A&M Nebraska game, which is another one I feel like people are going to be pretty 50-50 on, like just in general. I could kind of see that. Ole Miss beating Marquette here. And then honestly, like your destination that you got to here, you get to the 1 and 2. So like it was this could very well happen. Like this is actually a pretty genuine possibility here, even with the Fairfield Sweet 16 pick.
No, that's the centerpiece right there. That's the money making piece. Right. But it was really funny watching yours because like at first my eyebrows went up and I was like, and then I was like, well, wait, a case could be made.
Yeah, no, like I'm not gonna lie, Oklahoma's my team, so I saw that and I was like, but a little bit. But I also understand, I do get it. But that was, like I said, I love the Fairfield pick, and you picked one of, if not the most popular mid-major throughout it. So you're already, swinging pretty well. The batting average is pretty high right now.
Dude, they're gonna get smoked for like that. Indiana's gonna come out and roll. I'm so sorry, Fairfield alumni, for putting this hex on you, but till the wheels fall off, we riding with the Stag.
Riding with the Stag. Let's go over it. So this other side that we got over here, pretty much chalk across the board until you get to UNLV over Creighton. Was there any kind of basis off of that, or was it kind of just like I hadn't picked an upset yet?
I needed some chalk, but this is the region where I picked Middle Tennessee State over Louisville because I was like, I can't in good faith. I couldn't in good faith pick Louisville to win anything.
I feel you.
But I was like, is it better for Louisville to lose first round? I have a great laugh at that, great laugh. Or if they get to round 2 and Haley Van Lith get a little like she get the 30 ball and send Louisville home. I was like, I think 30. That would 80? 9? No,
no, but I'm with you. This is where the hate kicked in. This is where.
So y'all let me. Do I need to turn the hate up or down? Y'all let me know.
Well, you can turn it up.
Always up.
You got the Kentucky hat on. You got to turn it all the way up.
Always up.
Now there are rumors that a certain someone who patrols the Louisville sidelines could be making his way to Lexington. So that's very interesting. I just want to put that out there.
The rumors are swirling. I mean, they're saying they're going to the big school is what I saw people talking about, going from Louisville to Kentucky. But
okay, so walk with me.
Upgrade.
Go ahead.
If Louisville loses to Middle Tennessee, he ended the season early so he could get to Lexington. He threw the game. So we're gonna start a conspiracy there.
I'm loving this.
It's nasty.
If he makes it to LSU, he couldn't get the job done. So he still shouldn't go to Kentucky.
There you go.
Wasn't focused.
Yeah. How you gonna
Mine
coach
was
Kentucky?
elsewhere.
How you gonna coach Kentucky if you can't beat LSU? What you gonna do in the SEC? I got some agendas going for Jeff Walsh because I don't particularly care for him. He's kind of he be arguing with women too much, and I don't like all that. I'm just like, can you relax a little bit? So I got some agendas for Jeff Walsh. Like, we can take it there.
There you go. Yeah,
it's a win-win for me. So unless Louisville,
yeah, as long as Louisville loses, then it's a win. It's a win. So there you go. I'm interested down low as well because you got UNLV making a bit of a run here, including beating UCLA. What is it? Just going with the Vegas luck? Is that what are we rocking with here?
I don't know what it is. If UNLV isn't men or women, if they're in the tournament, I'm like they could get hot. I don't know what it is. I think I've been conditioned. Like when I was young, it was like the Larry Johnson.
Like
the running Rebels. So that's always in my mind, and I don't know why. So I'm like, they could do it based off some 30-year-old data.
There you go.
No, this is a dual history lesson because as you're saying that, that's exactly what I was thinking. Those old running Rebels, and he's like 12, so he has no context.
Never heard of any of these people.
Gucci Row.
No.
Oh man,
no, I don't think so.
This is tragic.
Next. So. I mean, if we next is crazy, but to go next, you did pick the money matchup here, the Iowa LSU game with LSU winning. I mean, some of probably the two biggest names in women's college basketball with Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. What went into this one here for you?
We just need it. I feel like we just. I know South Carolina, Iowa is probably like the matchmaker's dream, right? That's the undefeated team versus Caitlin Clark. But if you've been watching sports for any amount of time, we don't always get what we want at all. Except in this case, what I would like for LSU versus Iowa, just with all that's going on this year.
Yeah, it would.
Angel Reese 20-20 game. Might
Cheryl
feed families.
Sitting courtside. Yes, we need it.
Well, Swoop's courtside is great.
It might move mountains.
Yeah, the agendas will be crazy.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
Swoops versus Travis Scott. Who's more star power in that matchup?
I'm going Swoops. I'm biased, but I'm going
Swoops. The custom shirts are going to be crazy. Cheryl put up some wild custom shirt with all her accolades on it that's been going around. And I would respect it so much.
But imagine Travis
Scott. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Match
it with the new Trav.
I'm with it. like I said, I mean, you get here with LSU going to the Final Four. So like I said, these are two. Your Final Four is shaping up greatly at this point. I'm like you've mimicked, like, so far we got the same Final Four. So let's keep it pushing into our next sides here. Once again, you end up with the 1 and 2, and in the Elite Eight. Tennessee pulling off the upset against NC State. I know Greer is eyeing that one. Maryland against Iowa State. What was the basis on that one there?
That was, I feel like Kentucky, our current team, I think has a couple Maryland transfers. And I know Angel Reese came from there. I was like, they're doing something. They getting people in the door. You know what I'm like?
You have no idea how accurate that actually is.
Like that is the first date is going so like we like wow, like oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happens after that, but
we don't either.
I'm only talking for one game.
Yeah.
So
I mean, first date, first game win, and then they're out. Like that was some of the best logic I've actually heard. That was better than some of my logic on some of these picks. Because
when you said like we got some Maryland transfers, I was like, so does everybody else.
Yeah, literally.
That's what I'm saying.
Everybody has a Maryland transfer.
Did they just have like a 30-person roster like 3 years ago?
Dude,
no, it's just a revolving door. It's like a JUCO. Like they prepare you for the rest of the world.
For your
your
next step.
Yeah.
It's worse places to be as a program, honestly. So
yeah.
That's so funny. That's so accurate. That was like, oh man, that
no, people can see. Everybody can see Maryland. Yeah. Please retain some talent for more than 2 years. We're begging you.
There has to be some level of shift here because this,
like, the campus got to be beautiful. Like the tour has to be like so incredible. The facility, like something.
Brenda's a love bomber. Like, it's great the first couple of days.
We're gonna go to Turks and Caicos. It's you and me. And everybody sign up. And then 2 years later, it's like they have 15 transfers in the tournament. None of them currently on Maryland.
Yeah, I mean, that is incredibly accurate, actually, just across the board. It goes even further than Angel. Well, that was some of the best analysis I think I've heard throughout any of these episodes, actually. I do want, because I feel like, the rest of his side, pretty, like I said, we the NC State Tennessee matchup is definitely one that people are kind of going back and forth on, kind of the possibility of.
I want to, Greer, you said you were taking a look at that one?
Yeah, I also had Tennessee advancing in that one as well.
See, I want to pick against Tennessee because, I mean, just Kentucky, Tennessee, but I feel like Tennessee's going to win it.
So is that the SEC bias, like going against them as well? Just off beef?
It's that real rivalry, right?
Yeah. It's heart versus mind.
We had that too.
Yeah.
Okay, but here's the Rocky Top slaps. I'm sorry.
It's such a good fight song. It's so good.
Like if I'm on the fence, Rocky Top gonna get me there.
Yeah.
I'll say that what makes it good is it's a very bittersweet song. Like when Tennessee is scoring 65 points against you in football, and you hate it
over and over and over.
But when they just lost Tennessee lost in the SEC tournament, the men's side, somebody paid the band to play Rocky Top on a loop as Tennessee walked out. So if you're hearing that on a loop, it's like, oh, that is like that's art.
Women's basketball. We need this level of pettiness.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Let me write that down.
Hearing it 100 straight times as you're walking out, being upset, beautiful.
It's like that little kid crying and dancing, like Rocky Top.
That's exactly what it is.
Oh man, I that's hilarious. So I mean, the rest of the way, pretty much like obviously 1 and 2, Texas, Stanford get there. What was the Stanford? What was the basis on that one? Was there any type of basis? Because that was one that in our Final Four picks, we were kind of going back and forth between. I think we were split down the middle between who we had between Texas and Stanford. So you kind of breaking the tie here between us. So what was your reasoning for that Texas Stanford one? I
went to next level talent. So Cameron Brink.
There you go.
That was the tiebreaker.
Yeah. That's completely valid because Cameron Brink kind of different. She gonna talk trash though. Is what we know. while she's doing it.
Yes, please watch her very closely if you haven't already.
Yes.
She is an absolute maniac on the court. Every player that we interviewed in the Pac-12, almost every player has said like she's the best trash talker in the conference, and she just blacks out. Like they don't even think she remembers what she says, but that's just how she says.
Okay, that could go a little left, but
yeah.
Well, okay, because she didn't say it to a minority player, so I mean, she doesn't. Okay. She knows how to keep it.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, what kind of black and talking? Yeah.
Not the SEC kind, the Pac-12 kind.
Okay, now
that's crazy.
Arizona State, not the Mississippi State brand. Yeah. I got you.
Got it.
Because so we gotta have a talk with Wardell. That's his god sister, goddaughter, family. Yeah.
But I'm with it. I mean, the Cameron Brink effect. That's a valid reasoning to bring that up. So you have a 1 seed, a 2 seed, a 3 seed in the Final Four right now. I immediately want to direct us to the other side of the bracket, to the number 11 seed. Because, okay, first off, let me start with this. Are you betting on Auburn or Arizona here?
Arizona. It's just Arizona, my dog, Coach Barnes Copeland.
Okay. So there you go.
Ride with her, period.
So it's Arizona here. So immediately they get. So obviously they got to be Auburn, and then they go to Syracuse. And I had picked Arizona to beat Syracuse as well. So I'm with you on there. You lose me with UConn.
It was a tough sell. Mm-hmm. It was a tough sell, but listen, does Gino still have it? Yeah. Does Gino still have it? They've done it before.
We've moved past Gino.
Is he yesterday's new? Yeah. Is he?
That's Greer's team. She's trying to be chill and like let the receipts build and let everybody.
This is why I asked the experts.
I'm fine with it. You got to roll the dice. You know what I mean? And that's clearly what you're doing here. I hope they can beat Auburn because Adia was one of the main coaches out there talking about how the Pac-12 needed to have a lot of seeds in the tournament, and so. They gave her a seed, but they also said you need to win one extra game to even be in the big dance, right? So I like the deal. I'm a fan, honestly. I don't think the teams currently constitute a deal. That's another program that's lost a lot of players. Had a lot of players with the transfer portal. And actually, we might be like evenly matched as far as like how many players are eligible.
It might be 7-7. Like it really might.
But I'm taking us all day long in that for sure.
There you go. So
was the toughest one, of course. I was like, if I haven't passed UConn, I have to have him pass Ohio State.
I was about to ask because that ain't it. Like that ain't all for Arizona here. You got to go past Ohio State and make it into the Elite Eight.
Winning a couple games. If not, I would swap it for UConn. I agree with Grid there.
So from a haters,
right with my dog, yeah.
No, I was gonna say as a hater's perspective.
I got to
like when I first. I was saying like it was funny at first. I was like, you don't even know who's in. You just know UConn ain't going. But now I hear your logic. But I still would like to ride with that narrative that no matter what, it's just not going to be UConn. But when you say Arizona, that's the team that knocked them out to go to the national championship a couple years ago. And isn't McDonald on the coaching staff now?
Is she?
No, she.
I feel like she has been.
I don't think she is now. She was at one point. I feel like I haven't seen her this season to memory, at least.
Okay, so we haven't seen her, right? We get to the UConn, Arizona. She comes in through the Raptors like
down like Sting. Like Sting.
She just up there. Yeah.
My God, that's Ari McDonald's music.
We haven't said that in 3 years, but that's crazy.
Man. Paige first tournament back. Listen.
No, I like the name. But listen, okay. So even on the Messi tip, right? He has Arizona playing USC. If you remember, that's the game where Juju fouled out and they played double overtime in Tucson. That was toward the end of the regular season of the Pac-12 regular season. So like the narratives are still working in this bracket, no matter how we cut it. You know what I mean?
There's hate to be found anywhere. You know, and that's
a bar.
That's the beautiful thing about it.
Such a bar. There's hate. If you look hard enough, you look under any rock, I will find hate there.
There's something somewhere.
In a rainbow, in sunshine, I will find hate.
find a pot of gold, I find a pot of hate, and
Yes,
and it's overflowing always. Like I do want to touch you. You have USC coming out of this bracket. Obviously, Juju Watkins is one of them ones. No denying that. Is that just the factor here? Is that it's just
absolutely.
Juju? And that's complete. That's honestly that's about all the analysis. Yeah, that's plenty. Yeah.
That and I watched some of the conference championship versus Stanford, and she didn't have a good game, but she was like, y'all are cooking, go. Yeah. So they have that ability. I think it's major to be able to show that in a conference final. So you need every tool in the box to get as far as they trying to go.
Yeah, and that was one of the first times I felt like we really got to. That's been a growth thing for them. That hasn't been an always thing by any means. So the amount of confidence like that you have in this USC team is probably the same growth that everyone else. Yeah, that everyone else has also seen with it because this is new. Like this has been they struggled early in the season when Juju would struggle, but not. She ain't never struggled that bad, and they never did that good. So it was perfect timing for both. Let's dive into the Final Four here though, because like I said, did
y'all hear the rumors that Juju might be transferring to Lexington? Has anybody else heard that? Was that just
no?
Nobody else? Okay.
I don't know what booster rooms you in, but
nobody else heard that on Clubhouse. Yeah.
That's a quick FBI call. So no, go ahead, keep circulating that one. Absolutely not. No, Jeff Walls to Kentucky and
Juju. Oh hell no!
Hey, wait! My mind is going.
Wait a minute. What are you talking about?
Here we go.
Jeff Walls just got 2 girls that played high school basketball to commit to Louisville. They played with Juju at Sierra Canyon.
Oh,
I'm doing the Charlie Day meme right now.
And he moves, they decommit. Then she hold on. We got the red string out. We got the. Come on.
I can see the press release now. Like, hey, thank you so much to the University of Louisville. We'll be your Cardinal for life. We will be opening up our recruitment. Thank you so much. I can see him right now.
Got to put a verse at the end, a little Bible verse, and then you're good.
Get ready to speak bluegrass, ladies.
Yo, and all portal ladies, please put the announcement at the beginning. I don't feel like reading through all of this.
Please.
I like the one where they highlight what you're looking for. You'll see that in the NFL. It's like, I know what you're looking for. Players like, I'm going to the NFL. Come on. That's what you're
getting.
Let's get to it. Come on. Yeah.
Well, let's dive into this Final Four here. Because, I mean, you got quite possibly the most marquee matchup that they could probably get in the championship between South Carolina and LSU, just off the strength of people wanting to see it again.
Even over Iowa, you think? I thought that would be the
Iowa would probably be it. But I mean, after that fight,
we fought.
People gonna be tapped in regardless. LSU or Iowa, like they brothers jumping in. Oh Lord.
Hey, Moki want a rematch. Moki said, "Nah, you ain't coming from a big gun."
He pushed Angel. Yeah,
Angel,
do it.
Just
hit her.
Just chest boxing. Like, but let's. What was? I mean, it ain't exactly hard to sell South Carolina as a championship pick. I think all of our brackets ended with South Carolina being the champion. But LSU versus USC. Let's start here because you have the Juju effect, you have the Angel Reese effect. What kind of went into it here?
That's where I take like the LSU experience. Monkey, she be. I can't say she be dressing, but she be trying. She do be coaching.
She do be coaching. Yeah.
She's. If she would stop saying things like "not on a basketball court," I think people would think so much higher. Of her. Yeah. But that's where I wonder. Like, I feel like they'll just be able to scheme Juju into a bad night where her teammates cannot necessarily overcome it.
Yeah.
So Haley Van Lith lockup game?
I don't think
3 for 13. I don't know.
I don't know if that was the.
I don't know.
I don't know if that's where we ended up with that, but I mean, and then obviously South Carolina, like I said, not hard to kind of explain why South Carolina. But was there any kind of large, overwhelming reason here to pick South Carolina over LSU in that championship game?
I was very just because the fight is tough to beat a team 3 times. So they say. Has anybody ever studied that? Does anybody know for sure how hard it is? Yeah.
Well, I can remember when we did our UConn Notre Dame stuff. There was a time where I believe UConn beat them in the regular season every time and flipped. So that's in one rivalry where it's occurred, where it's like, okay, the last game, the team finally got their lick back,
Right.
So it has happened, but incredibly rare.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the year we beat, I guess, South Carolina. I'm certain y'all beat us twice in the regular season from the Eastern Division, and we won the third. So it can, as I look at it, I might have to.
Oh, you flipping on? Is this a lie? You about to throw the South Carolina hat away and pick up that LSU?
Yeah, like recruitments. No, I feel like it'd be very. I would look up and feel very silly. It was like they beat them 2 times. Of course, they beat them the third time. South Carolina's up 20 points going into the fourth quarter or something. And I don't know if it's boring or chalk, but I kind of like dominance. Like you go undefeated, I kind of want to see that. So,
keep doing that.
Yeah, I would run that play again. Personally.
Until
Dawn Staley is also ready to learn bluegrass. So enjoy her last year in South Carolina.
Hey, you better be careful with that one.
Hey, that would be the wildest turn of events. Oh my god!
Ever. Yes, Dawn Staley.
Insane.
After they win the championship, they cut down the nets. She resigned immediately to accept the University of Kentucky job.
You kind of already ruined the color, Shawnee.
Huh? Whoa. Hey, no, don't do that. Don't do that. This is no, I'm going back to Hampton Dawn leave because I don't even know who was the coach before Dawn. So I'm like, like I'm trying to think of like the fans would literally be in shambles because like what? We expected her to like maybe not die in this position, but like retire at the very least. Like but her going someplace else and then going to Kentucky of all places, that's
I think I saw an interview. She said it was her lifelong dream to coach the Kentucky Wildcats to several championships. I can't remember where I was.
Yep, this is a recorded space. Let me just make sure that
FBI.
We're gonna get some. What is their compliance number, real quick?
I love it. Well, Tyler, thank you so much for coming and break down the bracket. I mean, this is some expertise from all different parts of bracket building here, whether it be hate, whether it be vibes, whether it be the stags. There was
my stags.
The stags. We're gonna have to keep you like. This is gonna have to be like an updated thing now. Like we're gonna have to tap in with the stags. Like,
hey, y'all let me know as the stags go. I go.
Okay.
No, but thank y'all for having me. I cannot wait till my bracket is busted. Like
we're gonna be
Arizona is losing game 1. Louisville's winning the championship. It's gonna be awful. Absolutely.
Look, if it's the unvictory lap day 1, we got to bring you back. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like we got to lean into the hate.
Yeah.
Y'all say when.
Yeah, there we go.
Go ahead and plug yourself real quick.
Let them know
Tell people what you're working on. Yeah.
Oh, TylerIAm on Twitter. We're working on Sheed and Tyler. You can catch that on YouTube. Underdog NBA, as well as Third Time the Charm with my man Coley. We're doing that on YouTube as well. Audio podcast, wherever you get your podcast.
Perfect. We're gonna be tapped in across the board.
Appreciate y'all.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much again for coming through. Everyone, make sure that you go check out all the Tyler stuff. And we got more guests on deck. So this is the bracket building continues. Okay, from one Tyler to another. Tyler, aka DragonFlyJonez, is in the building. From Jenkins and Jones, you might know him as America's Musty on Twitter. He's got a little bit of everything going on. Tyler, thank you for joining us here today in the No Cap Space.
Hey, for sure. Appreciate y'all having me, man.
Yeah, we're
an imbalance of Tylers.
There's been a lot of Tylers in this video.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that. I ain't complaining.
Oh my god.
Frankly, we need Gardabasio in here to make it an imbalance of Italians.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mike, by the way, a true trailblazer for white Italian American men in the podcasting space. He is like our Giuseppe Garibaldi. Yeah. Mike, if you hear this, we love you.
All of this right here. That's all that was. That's all I heard. That's but we do have your bracket. We have your bracket here. See you with it now. We do have your bracket. We are very excited to go through this bracket with you here today. Just in general, what was kind of the basis of your bracket here? Was it could be hate, it could be vibes, it could be logos, whatever it was. Did you kind of have any North Stars here for any of your picks? Just generally before we dive into direct like specific matchups.
Yeah. Well, my mind Do you not want me to spoil my picks yet, or do you want?
We can go if you have a pick in mind, we can get to it.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say my mind has told me one team is gonna win the championship, but my heart is telling me another team is, and maybe it's not even my heart. Maybe it's me just saying, you got to kind of differentiate yourself in these bracket challenges. So I'm just gonna hitch my horse to this particular squad, and so that's probably why I picked that team to win it all.
Tennessee, this has been. I feel like. And I know, at least personally, I've gone back and forth between them being in the Sweet 16 to losing in the first round, but you have them all the way up in the Final Four. Hello, Greer.
Hi, Greer.
Very shocked that you guys just brought me to the stage. Hi, Tyler.
Hey,
hello.
What's up?
How you been? I was just listening, y'all.
Yeah. Well, you're here now.
I mean, thank you for choosing Tennessee and validating me.
Yes, it's perfect timing because you made the pick of Tennessee over NC State, so this is perfect timing here.
Okay.
Well, Tyler, let's start with you. Tennessee to the Final Four, not just to the Sweet 16. The spirit of Pat Summit, did it compel you? Like, what's going on here?
I'm keeping it the whole Tyler theme. She's got a son named Tyler, so
there you go. There you go.
I Texas at first, right? But then I was like, I got 4 number 1 seeds in my Final Four. Straight chalk, hell nah. So that's why I kind of
no, that's
like that off.
That's great. I love the fact it's just the Tyler theme. It's just Tyler supremacy, and honestly, I can get with it. That ain't no problem to me.
Yes,
there's a USC matchup, but let's start. Let's start with Iowa USC here, because obviously, I mean, that's box office. Caitlin versus Juju, but you go with Juju here. You go with the freshman phenom. Break it down for us.
Yeah, it's like I said. What I alluded to at the beginning, my mind tells me South Carolina is going to win this all, but I was like, you got to think a bit outside the box if you want to win this bracket type shit and go against the grain. So I'm hitching my wagon to Juju, and I think that's a great player to hitch my wagon to.
Yeah.
So I think that I think that her and Caitlin, if we do get that matchup, oh my God, that could be like the best game of the tournament, even if it's not the championship. So, but yeah, Juju is she's different, dog. She's different. Like.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if we ever saw a women's college basketball player who we knew so early on was going to be like an all-time great. Like 5 games in, I was like, oh, she's the one, bro. Like she is that deal,
Yeah, I mean, we were calling her GOAT reincarnated by day 3. I was like, what did we like? And it didn't, and it never felt drastic. I think that was like the craziest part to me was like at no point you could have put any expectation on her, and they would be like, yeah, okay. Like you could have said anything, and you can still say anything. So like I see this. And like I hear like the heart over mind, but I'm thinking like, dang, I mean, Juju could, it's not impossible for a player of Juju's caliber to go and lead her team past the undefeated South Carolina. Let's get into it though, because like you said heart and mind. So you're just fully riding with Juju here. There's nothing against South Carolina as much as you're just rocking with Juju across the board.
Exactly. I'm just rocking with Juju. Like, if Juju does go through Iowa and South Carolina to win a championship, oh my gosh.
Yeah. But I am glad that I'm not the only one that got a USC matchup. Because, like, I was filling out my bracket and I was just vibing. And then I get to, like, USC, and I was like, this feels weird, but okay. So we'll see.
Yeah. No, this would be crazy though.
When did Juju like get on your radar as like a sports watcher? Like what point in the season, or did you know her in like the prep world when she was coming in? It was like, oh, I got to tune in for this person.
Yeah, I wasn't hip to her in the preps, right? But when she went to USC, Mike Garabasio, Long Beach guy, and John, he lives out in LA too. My 2 co-hosts, and they were like, yeah, the city was buzzing about her since she was in high school. Right, like so they knew what was coming with her, and I was I'm here in Virginia, so I don't have my ears to the street in LA prep ball, of course, but it was like just a few games in, bro. It was just like she's the real deal, man.
Straight, man. That we've been doing stories and talking about USC all year long, and it's interesting and kind of a genesis for why we brought you and Tyler on as well, is because like you guys are also a window into the next generation that like this game kind of hits, right? Like it breaks containment out into the world, and now all of a sudden we're talking about these guys, these women, the same way that we're talking about Jokic and them, on First Take in the morning. In the last 2-3 years, like, how has it kind of broken containment for you guys, where now all of a sudden it's this thing that Stephen A. and Shannon are talking about in the morning? Like, there's viewership that pushes producers to be like, hey, maybe talk about this. Like, what's your read been on the last few years of this?
I mean, it's so refreshing, women's college hoops, because it's, in contrast to the men's product, like the men's product is so trash to me, right?
Oh,
It's bad.
And I think that's due in large part to like the one and done rule there, where, you know, with women's college hoops, we've got players coming back year after year, and we get these rivalries. We get players who become household names if you're a sports fan, right? Like, you know, Angel Reese and Caitlin, you know, battling last year, right? Like, that was an incredible game, and you know, we have something to look forward to, right? Like, we get invested in these players, we get invested in these teams that have, like, you know, the same core for 3-4 years straight. So I think that's for sure working to their benefit too.
We like to make sure that everyone can get a little glimpse into what this tournament is about to be. And one way that we can do that is through Love is Blind Bracketology, where we have
welcome to it.
We have picked different characters from Love is Blind and given you their team and or player comp that are in this tournament. So if you're welcoming yourself into women's basketball for the very first time, but you watch Love is Blind, you can kind of get an idea for the storylines of this season and of this tournament. So Andrew, I'm going to let you lead the way on this. This is your baby. This is your dog. I went and watched the reunion today. I didn't watch it yet. I was reading this like an Andy Reid play sheet. Like, as I was watching the reunion, that was my homework. That was my game film to go and kind of understand these characters some. But Andrew, I'm gonna let you take it from here.
Yeah, so a big shout to my fiance, who is a clinical social worker who spent arduous time really breaking every character or person on Love is Blind down to a science. And then an additional shout to Jenkins and Jones for all of the recap episodes that helped formulate exactly where we are. So we will begin with Futurama's Bender-made man, Jimmy. Our read on Jimmy was this, you know, just trying his best, you know, on the surface seems like a normal dude, but is occasionally a bonehead, a guy that has issues with time. He thinks 2 hours is 10 minutes. And in this respect, a guy that might not be the best with time, but ultimately means well, is 2 seed UCLA, a team that lost to USC in the Pac-12 tournament because of 2 ATOs in 2 separate overtimes that were 5-second plays ran when the clock was at 2 seconds. So a team you could potentially root for until they hear the words Megan Fox and their whole basis gets thrown off and you go, UCLA, what are you doing? So that's our first. Chelsea is our second. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't want to assign someone Chelsea.
That's gonna cause some discussions on the internet. But
because like that was my first thought. Was like, man, Chelsea is a not great person that you want to be comp to. I'm curious, Tyler, before I give you the explanation. Is there any type of redeeming quality about Chelsea that can be pulled from this show so somebody leaves here happy?
Oh, redeem. I think she's the type of crazy that knows she's crazy. You know, I think that counts for something. You know what I'm saying? Well, like, she was flat out saying I'm insecure as hell, so I think that counts for a little.
All right, we're gonna take that because in the reunion, spoilers for everybody. Chelsea, in my opinion, redeemed herself hard by coming with just receipt after receipt on Jeremy and Sarah Ann. And it feels like our friend Coach Yo at Ole Miss, who on every occasion possible has receipts for what you need. And even if it creates mess, well, she's got you covered, good, bad, or sideways. Continue down the list, Tyler, because we've got some disagreement on here. All right, Jessica's kind of on our same thing. Like, you could argue total package, but I find Jessica grating in the sense that she'll kind of remind you at every turn that she's got it like that. You know, like the EpiPen comment and everything that came afterwards. She handles herself well. You want to root against her. You feel like you have cause, and rationale to root against her. But then when you actually dig into why you're doing it, you're kind of confused. I put Iowa. Shawnee, you put UConn. Why?
Because the fan bases, like, you don't really, like, they're the ones doing all the talking, like UConn, and then they don't do it well to me sometimes, because, like, I would just be like 11 rings. Like, what are we even doing here? So that's why I picked UConn.
I mean, I see both, right? I definitely see both. Semi-controversial in their own ways, and for all probably the reasons you could assume. Johnny and Amy was honestly hard because they're just like, they're the couple that are just over here. You know what I mean? Like they're doing nothing. They're just watching everyone kind of do their thing. So we put South Carolina. I put Oregon State. Shawnee,
actually,
Utah.
Hold on, because now South Carolina could also qualify as the Jessica.
Oh, they could. Fan base.
When I say fan
base,
why
is that? Yeah,
like again, like the people doing the most talking are not really typically UConn affiliated. Well, I mean, Gino be saying some crazy stuff. Gino do be saying some crazy stuff in press conferences because he told them girls to go drown themselves. Like he was like, like if we lose this tournament, everybody needs to just like take a long walk into the ocean or at the bottom of the ocean or something like that because they were in Atlantis, and it's just like, okay, all right, man, that's weird. So Gino and in the fan base, I could see why people would look at them like Jessica, but like if you aren't on Twitter, I could see South Carolina being Johnny.
Yeah, I could see both. So we'll go to my favorites. These were my first picks, the easiest picks, our absolute cartoon villains. That is LSU women's basketball. First of all, our girl Sarah Ann, not a girl's girl, as y'all noted, like a cardinal insult in this reunion. Patriot woman, first and foremost, in the pod, a patriot with a capital P, utter chaotic, dirty Mackin villain, just like Kim Mulkey and her recruitment of Anissa Morrow and Kim Mulkey as a coach in general. I will ask, as the person outside looking in that has experience in both these ends, Tyler, do we see a Sarah and Kim Mulkey comp here acceptable?
Oh, for sure. I think that is spot on because they're both MAGA as hell, right? And Kim is for sure not a girl's girl with the way she let Brittany Griner out there to dry. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
No, and then Sarah Ann was like, I don't like talking about it. Kim Mulkey's like, why are you asking me about Brittany Griner? Hey.
And look, it sometimes takes an AD to jump in and be like, but you did say that. Which I feel like is most of women's basketball Twitter's response to Kim Mulkey saying shit at all times. But then you have the other side of the equation, right? You can't have a Sarah Ann without a chaotic foil, which is Jeremy, who is personified by our friend Haley Van Lith and the rest of LSU. Because I couldn't think of a more perfect encapsulation of this team winning the national championship last year than that fucking jet ski scene. Them riding off on jet skis while people are crying, where people are upset, where they're like, they can't keep getting away with it, and they're just like on the jet skis like, ha 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 ha. That was the most LSU shit humanly possible. Greatest might as well have been Jeremy, bro. Like, it is too perfect to pass up. And I want to get your just take. Love is Blind in particular here. What was your take on that scene? Do you think that was a producer-driven scene, or do you think they are just naturally that villainous and chaotic that they were like, jet skis, let's do this?
I mean, the parallel you could probably point there to LSU basketball, like you're saying, is when Angel Reese was pointing the ring finger in Caitlin Clark's face, right? Jet ski scene for them. But yeah, that scene was it was perfect. It was the most perfect diabolical reality TV show shit because fucking Laura had her heart ripped out. She was sad as fuck. And this motherfucker's on jet skis. You cannot be. There's no way that you can ride a jet ski and just not be elated. That's one of the things that you do. You're going to get the height of happiness, bro. When you ride a jet ski, you are just excited, exuberant, bro. And she was out there hurting, and this motherfucker was just, yippity-yee.
Bro, because he told her fix your face before he did it. Like, we're here to have a good time, so could you not like bring my vibe down with you being sad about our breakup? Like,
which again, as LSU as possible. Like, that felt like the perfect Love is Blind in the cultural zeitgeist moment for me. And that was, as you mentioned, last year's national championship, doing the ring, the Can't See Me. They had a thing that we found out later was a motivational tool that the coaches used, but the coaches drew rings on the girl's finger in the Elite Eight as a way of envision a championship ring on your finger. But nobody knew that during the game. So following the Elite Eight, there's a minute left, and Angel Reese and all of the players have a fucking Sharpie in hand, and they're writing rings on their finger on the fucking court. And it is just everything about them is jet ski, and I love it. And on the other side, you got to have a jilted lover in this scenario, right? So it's Lauren, it's Laura, but sort of a villain in her own right, kind of particular, a little bit high maintenance, complains a lot about stuff, says she's got a new boyfriend somewhere and is in Barcelona in the reunion, but we don't know that. You could have been in your house somewhere. And that is Louisville and our boy Jeff Walls, because someone's got to be sitting there they can't keep getting away with this while they ride the jet skis. And who better than the team that spurned you last year and left to go transfer, and now you got to go play them again. That's the return that we're waiting for. But I don't know if they're gonna have Jeremy and Sarah Ann on the ropes in this tournament. I don't.
Okay,
you need additional mess.
As we're talking this out, also Iowa, because again,
also Iowa.
Caitlin Clark got followed around the court with the thing. You know what I'm saying? Laura couldn't just go home, right? She's already there. And then on top of that, Lisa Bluter makes Iowa insufferable. The bar fight comment. I don't know, Tyler, if you saw this. Yeah, who were they playing?
The protocol one?
Yeah.
Nebraska?
No, I think it was Nebraska. They played Nebraska. Nebraska players are doing their press conference, and Lisa Bluter is off camera just losing her mind. This is not Big Ten protocol. They were playing music while we're at the free throw line. And she's just going ham.
During the Nebraska press conference. They're literally mid-question, and you just hear her in the background yelling. So, so this actually makes perfect. This is all adding up to me from the basketball side.
And as somebody that's just learning about Laura, you can see Lisa Bluter.
Yeah, 100%. Because
you didn't get there yet, but being
I watched the
Laura's
first two episodes and the reunion, and it already clicks. There's a couple that didn't take long to click, and this next one, Clay, this one clicked. Damn near.
Keep going down.
Yes, but you do agree that being Dip was Laura's fault, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, just making sure.
Okay, let us continue on. So, I know this might be a degree of contentious because I want to get your read on Clay before I repick a team, because I heard the pod of the reunion recap that you guys had, and Clay did redeem himself a little bit in that reunion. So my bit for Clay was he was telegraphing from day one that he was not going to do this at the altar. The minute he was in, he was it's not going to happen. There's just a lot of priming, and then he doesn't do it. Do I need to adjust the definition for Clay based on the reunion, in your opinion?
Going back to what you said, Clay for sure did not want to do this shit, and we saw the sign
Yeah.
He was trying to touch her. He was ask AD, what if we decide to not get married and just proceed, And she's like, no. If you're done, we know we signed up for it. Clay was just Clay did that shit where his eyes would get big, and he was just not yeah, okay, all right, and he just did that shit again there, but I do think that Clay honestly, genuinely did not want to hurt AD. I just think he wasn't ready for that shit, right? And he thought he could be, but yeah, I don't think Clay's a manipulator. I just think he's someone who was there for the ride, who thought that AD would be down to get off the ride with him before it came to the final destination, and she would.
That actually, you know what, Shawnee? I think that tracks Stanford.
This is adding up.
This still works because Stanford has two very elite front court players in Cameron Brink and Kiki Iriafen, but their guards are the trouble point. And we've known this for 2 years. And Stanford's been telling us this for 2 years. Tara Vanderveer at every turn has been like, we don't have guards. Like they're trying to get better. We don't have them. But they're on the ride, and we might wake up and see them in the Final Four. And now like we're at the altar and we're like, oh shit, Stanford's gonna win. And then Stanford's gonna turn around and be like, we have no guards. And then they get bounced out. So I like that. I agree with that. Let's keep going so we can wrap on the right notes here. Clay's dad. Shawnee, you wrote him in.
You know, I think that's self-explanatory. Someone that's gonna just literally let you down and blame somebody else. So
potentially Vic Schaefer at Texas. And let's see, here we go.
This was the one for me when I was like looking at the game film while looking at the notes. AD clicked immediately for me as Tennessee and their fan base. And then the reunion just like completely wrapped it up for me. This one just made perfect sense to me.
It's my thing with AD, Tyler, is you could hand her a bouquet of red flags and she'd be like, roses, thank you. And to me, that's Tennessee. Whereas, like, we're past the Pat Summitt era, and we know it's not going to be the same. But you can rationalize and be like, well, we only lost to South Carolina by 2, and we're a 6 seed. Maybe we can do this again and find this magic. And it's AD's belief in Clay is the Tennessee fan base's belief that those days are coming back. She's coming home one of these days. So I put her in there. AD's. Do we find one for AD's mom, Shawnee?
That's just the fan base. I feel like, is it not? Like, is it like?
Oh yeah, that's probably the fan. Yeah, like
that'd be the fan base.
Because they were definitely like, oh, Kelly has blue eyes just like Pat. Like when she stares, she looks like Pat. So that like the fan base would definitely be AD's mom. And then on top of that, like they're in a recruiting slump. So like they don't really got that many people coming in the future. So they're like, yeah, we have Rakia. And it's like, that's great. She's going to be a lottery pick probably in this upcoming draft. But like what happens after that, guys? So again, it's like Clay, like, yeah, I'm probably going to cheat. And it's like, you should prepare yourself for the future. Like, you see the red flags ahead, and you're just like slaloming, skiing past them, and just vibing. So, definitely like Tennessee.
That. So, final few. First off, I want your thoughts on did Trevor really just freeze, or do you think he was trying to figure out how to move on the fly to the text messages coming out at the reunion here?
Listen, bro, I do not have a read on Trevor at all because I feel like he fooled the whole fucking country. Like, I remember when he didn't get picked, everyone's like, "Oh man, how could you do Trevor like that? He's such a good guy." That motherfucker was the worst. Like I remember when he introduced himself, he was like, "You know, people have the wrong misconceptions about me because they think I'm a musclehead, but I'm really a nice guy." And I was like, I was wrong as hell about you because I thought you were just a low, gym boy beefhead, but I was right, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Squash your preconceived notions with that fucking guy because he's everything I thought he was when I first saw him.
Yeah, and that's my thing is like he's good at fooling you, right? Like he's good at fooling you. He's good at making you feel a certain type of way. But then the lights get bright and they pull a receipt and then you freeze and you don't have anything to respond or anything to change. And that is the 3 seed NC State and our guy Wes Moore, a dude who has won 30 games a season, like 5 out of the last 7 seasons, and has had an opportunity to go to the Final Four once, inexplicably benched his best guard, and then loses to UConn in overtime. Has also had 2 teams that were like 32-4 and lost in the Sweet 16. He is fool you once, lights are bright, just gonna biff it when you pull a receipt on him. I also thought Lachey pulling the receipts was crazy. Because, yes, like, the sanctity of the experiment is everyone's here for TV. But it felt like a very clear shot to all the people that were going to apply for future seasons. Like, if you're this nakedly transparent about trying to game this for television, like, we will get you on TV and fuck you up. Like that very much felt like a warning shot to like everyone who plans on applying in the coming years. Did you see it that way?
Yeah, he was like, "How dare you disrespect the spirit of Love Is Blind? You can do that." Serious.
Dog, what's especially crazy about it is like he looks at Lachey and he's like, "Can I go now?" And they're just like, "Okay," and it's just amazing production. They drop the sound. You could hear a fucking pin
in the back with the timer too when he came out. That was the fucking Royal Rumble or some shit, right?
Trevor's gonna come out in 30. Like, oh god, what a wonderful, wonderful show. All right, Shawnee, home stretch. You got the last 3.
All right, so we got Matthew. Kind of weird. Why are you here? And to me, it's like the SEC outside of USC and LSU because they had somewhat of a down year as in terms of conference play. Like the Pac-12, they was battling start to finish. Like it was a gauntlet all the way through. The SEC, like you had good games, but it was because like there were upsets. And they were upsets because it wasn't, people at the bottom. Yeah, like people at the bottom weren't really pulling their weight. So Matthew, like Texas A&M, I like Joni, but sorry, I could have did without. Then I couldn't remember her name, but 80s homegirl in the pods, the black chick that was like, seemed to be giving her good advice. And when she told her like, yeah, Clay he's damaged, but I'm such a fix-a-hoe, like this appeals to me. It's like, okay. And the homegirl's just kind of staring like, sure, that's Iowa State. They seem like, they're steady. They don't really be in the headlines for a whole lot of drama. They should have got more camera time. Iowa State, because be on the lookout for Audie Crooks. Like, one, that's just a wonderful rap name. So if she ever wants to drop a mixtape,
incredible,
bro, Audie Crooks, remember that. She a freshman, too. So she's part of that class that's, like, carrying the new girls. So, yeah, Iowa State. Then we got Kenneth.
Just immediately starts laughing.
Like, Kenneth starts out great. You think, like, oh, okay, he's, might do some things, might have some, and then just immediately checks out. UNC to me, because every year Deja Kelly will put on a performance in those first rounds, and it's like, yeah. And then they'll usually face South Carolina in the next round, and they'll play them pretty good, but then it's just like, nope, we're done here. And it kind of keeps happening. So that's my pick for Kenneth. And they didn't press Kenneth as hard as they should have in the reunion, in my opinion. Like, not even the rumors or whatever, but just like, what were you doing? Because, like, ain't no middle school. First off, I've been in middle school. We didn't, like, what does the principal need to do?
In the middle school.
Like,
principals in middle school, dog. Hell no.
Bruh,
they ain't have that much to do.
Bro, my dad was a high school principal. I never remembered him being on the phone with parents after hours. Like, that tells me you're involved in some wrong ways. Like, why would you even want to do that?
Yeah, I feel like so many educators are anti being on your phone. Like, my mom was a teacher, and she always got on me about being on the phone, bro.
Yeah, like,
And that's my thing, because, like, my mom's a teacher, too. So she was doing a lot of work and having to respond to that because so the principals don't have to. So I'm kind of like, what are your teachers doing that you have to do all of this responding? And like, they couldn't, like, first of all, they could function for like 6 weeks with you being gone, but now you have to come back and like get the school back on track. It's giving Bishop Sycamore Middle. Something's like, I was like, bro, you are not Joe Clark. Like, they don't need you that bad. Why are you still on your phone? He weirded me out, and they needed to press him harder. But out of respect for Brittany, I guess they left him alone.
It just occurred to me that we missed Brittany, but I mean, she's okay. She's fine. She's in the Johnny Amy tier, I think. So with all of this in mind, having seen all of these teams and their comps, is there anything in your bracket or any teams that you would change or now want to watch or see based on their character comps?
That's a good question. I mean, this just makes it's the thing about college sports is it's usually like you rooting against coaches a lot of times, but then you can't root against the coach because then it's like the innocent kids catch the strays, right? Because I do not want to see good things happen to Kim Mulkey, but I love the girls that she coaches. You know what I mean? So you got to conundrum there. You feel me? So yeah.
I felt that, man. It's been interesting, especially with that team, just like how how the dialogue has kind of been around LSU and what the dialogue around them is probably going to be this year too. But the thing for me that I am most interested in seeing is probably that team. I can't believe I'm saying it because I wanted nothing to do with them last year.
Yeah.
And now it's made for TV. There's no group that's made for TV like them because as y'all mentioned, we love a villain. We love the jet skis. We love the mess.
Jet skis.
We love the jet skis in the worst possible way, man.
I love it. Well, Tyler, thank you so much for joining us. We hope that the both the bracketology with the actual bracket and now the Love is Blind bracketology has you as prepared as possible for this March Madness tournament. I know
I'm hyped, man. I appreciate y'all. That Love is Blind shit was brilliant, man. Hats off.
There we go. There we go.
Man. Thank you.
Well, we thank you for coming through. Like I said, absolutely just a gift to have you here. So make sure that everyone stays tapped in with all of our March Madness coverage across the board. We are just getting rolling, and now the games are almost here. So make sure you stay tapped in here on the YouTube, like and subscribe, plus the Twitter, the Substack, and the playback, and we'll catch you next time.